Let's explore the power repetition further. In this lesson, we will be building several artworks using repetition, fill color, and line weight changes. So exciting! Let's start with reproducing this pattern. As we can see, we have a number of little frog faces drawn on a pattern background of rectangles of various shades of blue, red, and yellow. There are two patterns that are repeated here. The first pattern is the background, which is made from a series of 30 rectangles that are drawn next to each other using different shades of first blue, then red, then yellow. I use 3 loops for this. The first one draws 10 rectangles next to each other of width 20 and height 150. I use a for loop for this, making sure to change the fill color at each repetition. I do this by subtracting a different number each time from the fill color corresponding to blue, like this. I do this by using the counter, in my case I, and subtracting an increasing amount, in my case I times 15, every time. This ensures that by the end of the repetition, the blue quantity will be equal to 255 minus I times 9, which is 165. I do the same for the rectangles drawn with a shade of red, like this. This time, I must ensure that the top left coordinate of my rectangles takes into consideration that the x has changed, and that the 10th blue rectangle finishes at x equals to 200. I do the same for the yellow rectangles, applying the same process of decreasing the fill quantities, this time for red and green, remembering that red plus green gives us yellow. Ta-da! The second pattern is the drawing of the face of the frog, which is repeated 5 times. Each time the frog face is repeated, its main color is changed. The eyes of the frog remain the same. The best way to organize our program is to draw one frog using variables representing the x and the y coordinates, and then to repeat the drawing by using a for loop to draw the other 4 frog faces. To draw this face, we will need 4 circles for the eyes, 2 for the white parts, 2 for the black parts, 2 ellipses for the nostrils, 1 ellipse for the face, and 2 lines for the frog's mouth. Similar to how we drew the Christmas tree, I figured everything out on paper first, using only x and y as variables, and predefined widths and heights for the ellipse. My x and y coordinates is the center of the left eye of the frog. Everything else in the frog's face is drawn relative to that, like this. Let's draw this and see what we have. Awesome! It looks fantastic. Now let's try to draw 5 of these. We will use a for loop to draw them using the variable I as a counter. We need to take care that our x variable changes with each frog. The y variable does not change, as all the frogs are drawn on the same horizontal line. To be on the safe side, we'll change the x, incrementing it by 100 every time. Let's see what we get. Awesome! The last part that we need to do is to add a bit of color to the frog faces. Feel free to do whatever you want with the fill parameters. To make my life easy, I use the similar formula to the one above, like this. Feel free to try as many formulas as you want, making sure that you include quantities that change with each loop iteration.